Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United get a 2-2 draw in Atalanta because of one man. Superb Cristiano Ronaldo, Ronaldo FC, all that, look, whatever. The reality is I'm happy because I just cannot face the prospect of being in Europa League in February. It can't happen. It can't be allowed to happen. And I think with that point, we get out of that problem. Were we shit? Yes, we were. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lucky manager? Yes, he is. And are Atalanta ridiculously unlucky to have 1 point from 6 against us? Of course they are. Look, I'm not, and for anybody who's wondering why people have decided they don't want Ole as their manager, that is evidence in itself, because realistically, if it's not for Cristiano Ronaldo, we lose that game comfortably. There was so many bad performances. I mean, look, after the Spurs game, fans want to believe that the players are bouncing back. They've got all the bounce back of a punctured bouncy castle. Like, they were back to what they're normally like. About when you've lost to Liverpool 5-0 and you've taken 1 point from 12, bouncing back is not beating Spurs 3-0 away from home. Bouncing back is going on a run of 10 games where you're on it and you're playing really, really well. But I'm not knocking the players because I just don't think they're capable of doing it with this coach. I mean, it's just, if Ronaldo's equaliser there, let's stick on a positive for the moment. Atalanta have done everything right to win that game. They don't have the players that we've got. They just don't. It's David against Goliath, and we're Goliath. We've got our bench is worth more than their first team by a long way. It's probably worth double, treble their first team, and that's just our bench. They are the underdogs, and they deserved at least one win out of the 2 games, and they've ended up with a point. We've ended up winning and in Old Trafford and getting a draw at their place because we've got Cristiano Ronaldo. That's the only reason. Tactically, their coach has absolutely bantered Ole, but he doesn't have Cristiano Ronaldo. He doesn't have a player like that. And at this level, Cristiano Ronaldo will get you out of jail. And Ole is very, very lucky that he's got a player like that, because it's plastering over the opened wound, which is very obvious. He ain't good. He is not a good manager. He is just not a good manager. But this is why I believe we'll get 4th place, because I just think replace Atalanta with Crystal Palace, West Ham, and everybody else. They haven't got Ronaldo, and we have. And Harry Maguire was abysmal. McTominay was abysmal. Pogba was abysmal. Bruno wasn't much better. Rashford was abysmal. Half our team was abysmal, and we still get a point against a very well-coached side because we've got Ronaldo. And it will always make a big difference when you've got Cristiano Ronaldo. As for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he shouldn't be the manager now. And he'll still be the manager after City. And people are saying, oh, City are going to smash us. But what if City have a bad day and Ronaldo has a good day? We could win that 2-0. It's a derby. It's at Old Trafford in front of 75,000 amazing fans who will be absolutely pouring the team on. I don't think we necessarily lose to City, but maybe we do, maybe we don't. But he'll still be in charge, because he'll still be in charge. But I mean, look, let's get into some of the problems with that from a coaching point of view. He starts the game with a back 5. You don't need to play a back 5 against Atalanta. They're playing like Leeds. Play with a back 4. We played better when we went to a back 4, but he starts with a back 5. One of his centre backs gets injured, so he instantly goes to a back 4. What's that all about? Your plan's a back 5, you lose a centre back, and you go straight to a back 4. Like, why not stay as a back 5? Why not put Tellez at left wing back and put Luke Shaw left centre back? No, straight to a back 4. Who does he bring on? Greenwood. He goes with Greenwood and Rashford and Bruno and Ronaldo, the same team, the same front 4 that caused us a problem against Liverpool. Greenwood actually came on and did well, to be fair. Rashford was dreadful. Pogba and McTominay were bad from minute 1 to the minutes they got substituted, and he stuck with them. They were getting bypassed by their press. They were abysmal. They were really, really bad. Doesn't change it for ages. I mean, it's the old story again. If that had been Liverpool, we'd have lost 4 or 5-0. Because it was Atalanta and they haven't got the quality of players of a Liverpool, we were always hanging about in the game, but there was so much space through that midfield. A better team would have put us to the sword. we were very lucky to get back into that game, and we're very lucky to have the greatest of all time, in my opinion, Ronaldo. People call him Penaldo and this, that and the other. The goals he scored today, especially that second goal, just absolutely world class. How he's got 5 Champions League goals from 4 games for us, I'll never know. Because and it goes back to that thing that I tweeted. We are celebrating that draw because we know we didn't deserve it. We are celebrating the genius of Ronaldo because he's wearing a Manchester United shirt and we just can't believe he's here. We are getting results with that coaching setup. And this is where I come from, and maybe some other people come from as well. Imagine what we would be if we had proper coaches. Because I look at Ronaldo and Bruno and Sancho and Pogba and everybody else, and Rashford and Greenwood and Cavani, and I think if they are capable of getting us back into games like that when we don't deserve to be, imagine what they do in a team that's got a proper coach. Because that was a horrible watch, a really bad watch. Apart from the moments of brilliance from Bruno, Greenwood and Ronaldo for the first goal, and then the moments of brilliance in stoppage time from Ronaldo, there's 85 minutes at least of crap football from United with no direction, no chemistry. No one knows what anybody's doing. It's like everyone's wearing blindfolds. It's just a mess. It's a crap performance. It's a really bad performance, saved by 2 moments of brilliance by Greenwood and Ronaldo and Bruno on the first goal. So just a really, really disappointing performance. And again, you've got to look at the coaches. They're not good. Whether it's Phelan, Carrick, McKenna, Ollie, whoever you want to talk about, they're just not good enough. And I can't believe we have to keep having the debate on social media and moaning about, oh, you're moaning about the coaches. They're not good enough though, are they? They're not. I don't know what you're fighting for. They're not good enough. And look, we might beat Man City. We might beat Chelsea. We might beat bloody Watford. We might win the next 4 games. But we're not going to win it playing good football. We're going to win it like we did there, where we get away with it and then moments of brilliance win us the game. There's no structure to the way we play. We don't have a style of play. There's no chemistry, no structure, no confidence on the ball, no patterns of play. You watch Atalanta, and I've only seen them twice this season, and I know how they play football. I could tell you, I could write an essay tomorrow on how Atalanta play football, and I've watched them twice. You asked me to do it about Man United, who I've watched week in, week out for the last calendar year, and it would be over in a sentence. We basically try to defend and hit teams on the break and rely on moments. There's no pattern of play. We're just a counter-attacking side. And some people seem to be happy with this. I'm very happy that we're going to get through the group and we're going to be not in the Europa League, because I'd rather get knocked out on a Wednesday night in February than go playing Thursday night football till May again. I just don't want to play in the Europa League. So I'm very happy about that. But performance-wise, that was poor today. Drop Pogba and Rashford against City. Sancho and Van der Beek need to start, says Mark. I want to talk about Sancho and that. Oh, link in the chat. Player ratings. We're going to be doing that because I think it's going to be one of the most interesting player ratings we've ever done. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being your average, star for man of the match. Because there's going to be some high scores. I thought Wan-Bissaka and Bailly, brilliant. Obviously Ronaldo as well. Greenwood did well as well. And there's going to be some low scores because, as I said, Maguire, Pogba, McTominay, Rashford, Bruno, not very good. Van der Beek and Sancho gave us a lot of flair going forward when they came on. It's unacceptable that they're not given more opportunities to play, says Mark. Mark, I really think Bay and Varane would be our best centre-back pairing, says Jay Drums. Mark, 100% agree with everything you say. Ollie is bad, says Ray Cole, Brown Amori. Look, when he brought Sancho and Van der Beek on, I was talking on the watch-along and I went, that's a last throw of the dice. That's basically, I'm now managing for the fans because everyone wants Sancho and Van der Beek to play. 5 minutes to go. If he loses that, he's under massive pressure again. I still think he's under pressure with a draw, but he's under massive pressure again. He brings on Sancho and Van der Beek, and to me, with 5 minutes to go, that was almost like there's no point in doing it, but I'll do it just to try and get something. I mean, 5 minutes is nothing. You know, you can come on for 5 minutes and not touch the ball. You know, the ball could have been free kicks, out for a touch, whatever. But they did actually make a difference, Sancho and Van der Beek. They were a lot quicker across the ground than McTominay and Pogba and Rashford were. They got the ball and they were passing and moving one touch. Like there were little flicks here and there. I think it's criminal that Sancho and Van der Beek don't play more for Manchester United because they're proper footballers. But, you know, you look at McTominay on the ball. He's taking a touch. He's playing a simple fucking pass. Pogba just doesn't look interested. And there's two players I want to talk about, Pogba and Maguire. Pogba, I always said Pogba, Eric saved us many times. Why has he not picked more? Look, if we didn't have Eric Bailly, we'd have lost that game. His recovery pace, if that had been Lindelof, we would have been screwed. Man United celebrating a draw, lack of standards. I'm done now. Call me when Ali have gone, says Jonathan. Look, the standards are on the floor, Jonathan. We all know that. But let me just talk to you about Paul Pogba. Spoke about Paul Pogba, didn't we, towards the end of last season through the summer. He cannot be allowed to go into the last year of his contract because when he goes into the last year of his contract, he's going to leave in May. And when he's in the last year of his contract, he might start thinking about the next move. He might not fancy a 50-50 tackle that could break his leg. He might not be fully committed. He might be thinking of other things. Raiola will be making the calls. I think Pogba is disengaged. And what I mean by that is I like Pogba and I still think we'll get good performances out of him. I don't think he's going to down tools, but I don't think he's as committed as he would have been a year ago or 2 years ago. And that's on the club. We are using a player that to me is become inconsistent, Pogba again. I think for 6 months between January and the summer, he was very consistent. This season, he's inconsistent. He started the season very well. He's now playing very poorly again. Well, that doesn't help us. Harry Maguire is the captain of the team. He's the worst player in the team at the moment. He's making mistake after mistake after mistake, and he's the leader. Like, I don't like it because I think Harry Maguire can be a good centre-back, but at the moment he's abysmal. Somebody said in the chat, is he even fit? He's probably not fit. But even if he's not fit, if he is fit, he's playing bad. And you know what? 100% it should be, if everybody's fit, Varane and Bailly, because Eric Bailly was arguably man of the match today. So Eric Bailly should be in that team and probably will be in the team at the weekend because we'll go to a back five if Lindelof's back. But Maguire does need dropping and the captaincy needs to go to somebody else because when you're not performing, you need to be dropped. And he's been a massive part of our problems. The second goal is ridiculous. He puts his hand up, which costs him a yard that he hasn't got. His recovery pace is that of a dead snail. He's slow. And I thought it was offside, but it wasn't. It's just too slow. But Ollie's got his favourites. McTominay was crap today. Bruno wasn't very good. Maguire wasn't very good. But they end up staying on the pitch for far too long. Lindelof will come straight back in over Bay, says Anthony. Bay and Twansibi are only losing out because Manchester United spent 40 million too much on Maguire, says Anime. Paul Scholes says tonight again was messy. As soon as Varane went off, it's shaky. Maguire doesn't look right. Second half, no formation or structure. Paul Scholes ain't stupid. He knows exactly what the problem is. We all do. We're shit. And the club should have sacked Solskjaer. And we're elongating the truth. I know. Look. The great thing about tonight is nobody can say, oh, negative Goldbridge. I'm over the moon with that Ronaldo goal because I don't want to be in the Europa League. I loved it. I'm like, yes. I just don't want to be in the Europa League. I do not want to be in the Europa League, and that goal is fantastic. And that's why I'm happy. But I'm eyes wide open. I said it before the game. I support Manchester United. I don't believe in the manager, and I don't trust the owners. I can still support and celebrate Manchester United goals, and that's just how it's going to be for me now. But there is no United fan that can sit there, whether you're Ollie in or not, and say that it's not the long goodbye. It's inevitable what's going to happen. He will get sacked at some point. It might take 7 years, might take 7 days, might take 7 months. But at some point he will be sacked and he won't be good enough because he's not good enough. If you were backing Ollie after that Spurs result, you needed us to go and win today and play well. What you didn't need was another capitulation shit performance. As I said, Liverpool, we get hammered. We take 1 point from 12. We beat Spurs and everybody's pinning their hopes on this is the bounce back. We play Atalanta. We're as bad as we were against Atalanta last time. Leicester last time. We're shit. And it's not to do with morale. It's not to do with effort. It's to do with the fact there's no chemistry. There's no patterns. It's just poor football. It's poor coaching. And we're defying the odds because of people like Cristiano Ronaldo and Eric Bailly tonight. Harry Maguire, Ollie out, says Shankar. And Eric Bailly bailed us out tonight. Without his blocks, we would have lost. And can I just say as well, in defence of Harry Maguire and Marcus Rashford over the years as well, why does this football club rush players back when they're clearly not fit? Raphael Varane, when he went off for France in the international break, did exactly what he did tonight. He didn't go off on a stretcher. He didn't hobble off. He went off because he knew something wasn't right. Same thing happened tonight. I'd be amazed if it's not the same injury. When he got injured, we were told he won't even be back for the derby. He comes back a week early, plays against Spurs, and then plays again 3 days later and goes off with what looks like a very similar injury. Why are we constantly rushing players back when they're not ready, and now we're going to lose him for the derby? It's panic. It's panic stations. It's like going to a back five and then someone gets injured, so we go back to a back four, which was the formation against Liverpool. It's all over the place. Chucking Sancho and Van der Beek on for the last 5 minutes. It works, but it's just, let's try this. Let's try that. Let's rush him back. Let's do this. Oh, it was always part of the plan for Ronaldo to pull off a worldie again. I thought Ollie being stubborn by keeping playing McFred was going to cost him his job, but Maguire is doing his utmost best to come into the discussion, says Arjun. As much as I hate to write this, Ollie does need to go, and so does Pogba. His first half was woeful, says Cam. I like Pogba, I like Bruno, but they weren't good tonight. I always back the team, but still not good enough. We'd probably be bottom of the group if not for Ronaldo. Ollie is such a lucky manager, says Ashley Crane. He's doing what an interim coach would do, send players in and let them do whatever they want. No plan, individual moments, saves us again, says Kia. And Conte is joining Tottenham, so apart from him, who do you think is best suitable for the manager? We're stuck with Ollie, Jazz. We're stuck with Ollie. You know, that's very abundantly clear with me. We're stuck with Ollie, and we're stuck with a season like this, where if we can keep a clean sheet, we'll win games because Ronaldo or Bruno or Rashford will score a goal. And if we concede a goal, we'll end up drawing games or losing them, and maybe Ronaldo or someone will get us out of jail. We aren't going to go on an amazing run. We can't live with Liverpool, Chelsea and City because we've got no style of football. So we are going to be what we're going to be. And I don't see that changing, to be honest with you. I really don't. I think we are settling in for what the reality is going to be this season, which is going to be a very, very, very difficult season for us because we've got no style of play. We've got no patterns of play. We've got no chemistry. It's just hard to watch us play at the moment. And look, Man United should have sacked him last week. They should probably sack him in the international break, but they don't have anybody lined up to do it. And nobody wants Ollie to succeed more than I do. He's a club legend, but he just looks absolutely out of... I mean, look, they've just shown a clip of him there at full time walking up to Michael Carrick, smiling and shaking his hand. I ain't got a problem with that. But it's almost the smile of the two that they think they had a part to play in it. And I'm like, you didn't. Like, you didn't. Like, you really didn't. Like, nothing you did contributed to that point. Like, it's just pure Ronaldo and Eric Bailly, really, isn't it? Like, you nearly cost us the result. But it's that... I don't know what to say because I've sort of fallen into this pattern now where I support Manchester United. I want us to win games, but I don't believe in the coaching setup and I don't believe in the ownership. So I'm just going to focus on United and be very honest about I want us to keep winning. I want us to try and salvage something from the season, but I don't believe it will happen because I just don't believe in the coaching setup that we've got. I think it's really difficult to say anything other than that at the moment. Obviously, the City game's going to be very difficult, but you never know in a derby. You never know. We're going to do the player ratings in a minute. We should get a manager that builds on the good that Ollie has done, not a manager like Conte who plays a wingless formation. Get Ten Hag, says Mr. Glenn Johnson. But Ollie was playing a wingless formation tonight until we lost the player for injury, and he decided to change it again. If Pogba won't commit to the club, he shouldn't be playing. Donny should be in to keep the player, says Pip. A conservative manager is Southgate, says Stephen Dormer. Forget Ollie's on the wheel. Ollie's on Ronnie's back. Van der Beek did more in 10 minutes tonight than McTominay did in the entire game. And without Bay tonight, we would have lost the game, says Keith McNamara. Let's do the player ratings, actually, because I think that will lead into more conversations about the individual players. But look, we're going to start off with David De Gea, and this is something I was going to say before we did the player ratings. But you can do your player ratings, links in the video description, mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average, put a star next to your man of the match. You'll catch up with me if you do them while you're doing them. But what I did want to say about David De Gea, but more about Ronaldo tonight is, somebody said it in the chat just there, if we didn't have Cristiano Ronaldo, we would be in the Europa League. And you're right. You know, the goal against Atalanta tonight, we've got 4 points when I think we would have had none. And we were lucky against Villarreal as well, let's not forget. So we've scammed a few points in this group. I wouldn't say we didn't deserve them, because football's a 90-minute game, and if you put the ball in the back of the net, you put the ball in the back of the net. But we've been lucky. We've been lucky, and Ronaldo's had a massive part to play in that. And I think in the Champions League, Ronaldo's been to United what De Gea's been in the Premier League. If you think about De Gea in the Premier League, I can think of at least 7 points we wouldn't have if it wasn't for De Gea. Well, you take that 7 points off the 17 we've got, we're on 10 points. Ollie's gone. He's gone. So De Gea in the Premier League and Ronaldo in the Champions League, they've kept Ollie very firmly in a job. And that's scary. That is really scary, because it's not even speculative. It's not even sensationalist. You know, you're not going to get people on social media saying Goldbridge is an idiot. You know, he's saying if it wasn't for Ronaldo and De Gea, Ollie'd be long gone. But because they know it's true. De Gea has saved us so many points this season, and Ronaldo has won us so many points in the Champions League. That's a scary situation to be in, but obviously it's scary to fans, but it's not scary to the board, it's not scary to the director of football, because they don't understand football. They clearly don't. You know, somebody was saying in the chat that the reason Conte is at Spurs is because they've got Patrici, who's a very good director of football, who saw the problems and went and got Conte and got rid of Nuno. At United, Mertens just been at the club for years, he's a mates with Ed Woodward, it's just the same old people pissing in the same pot. They won't look at this season and go, Ollie's only got 17 points because of De Gea, Ollie's only going through into the next stage of the Champions League because of Ronaldo. They'll think, well, we're winning games. That's what matters. They won't see that we don't have. You know, we're very hard to watch. We're very, very hard to watch. That was a horrible game to watch. Apart from the goals, it was a horrible game to watch. We're not an entertaining team to watch, are we? We're a hard watch. Brighton are better than us. Brentford are better than us. In relation to style of play, and people can say it's about winning, it's about results. Well, yeah, it is, but I love watching Brighton. I love watching Brentford. I'd love to watch Manchester United and enjoy it. I love watching Manchester United. I just don't enjoy watching us because we play really bad. As much as I want you to be in post-match interviews, put your tweet about Ollie copying Tonti's tactics. Such assumptions is why you won't get into the official post-match interviews. Just being honest, mate, says Jazz. I don't want to get into the official post-match interviews, mate. So you're right, I'll never get into the post-match interviews. I don't want to be, because the people who get into the post-match interviews are on WhatsApp groups with the club and have to put stuff out for the club, and it's scratch our back and we'll scratch yours. If you want real opinion, watch this channel and channels like it and websites like it. You know, I'm not bothered about being in post-match interviews. They wouldn't let me ask the question I wanted to ask anyway. Mark, great content, says Vladimir. Ollie and Lampard are in the same situation, except Ollie has Ronaldo and Lampard had Werner, who couldn't score, says Matthew. Mark, did you notice what Cavani signalled to Ronaldo when he came on? He just gestured that him and Ronaldo would play however they want. This is just another proof that Ollie is clueless, says Sudasan. And United are promoting Ronaldo merchandise on Twitter after drawing a terrible performance. Club is finished. Well, we are. I hate to say it, but we are Ronaldo FC, aren't we? But Ronaldo FC, I tweeted it for this show. We are Ronaldo FC. Rivals will start calling us that, because look, I'm looking at Ollie on my screen here. He's relaxed, he's confident, because he knows that goal has saved him again. If we lose to City, he won't get the sack. So, you know, he's going to keep surviving and surviving and surviving, and we're going to keep having these conversations after many more games. We will win some games. I think we will get 4th place. We will get knocked out of the Champions League. We won't win the Champions League. We might win the FA Cup. We won't get anywhere near a title, and he will still be here in the summer. That's what I'm sort of settled in for, which is why I would advise, for your own karma, support Manchester United. And if you don't think Ollie's good enough and you don't like the board, well, you box them off into different areas, but enjoy that Ronaldo thing like I did, because I want Manchester United to win. I don't believe in the manager, and I don't support the Glazers. It's just what it is, isn't it? Let's go and have a look at the match. So look for me, De Gea today, 6. He did make a mistake on the goal, but he made a couple of other good saves after that. I thought his distribution was really good. You know, I'm not going to dwell on it. David De Gea is going to make mistakes. He's been amazing this season. Alisson makes mistakes. Ederson makes mistakes. Goalkeepers will make mistakes. I'm not going to read anything to it. He's a fantastic goalkeeper. He's been brilliant for us this season. but I don't think he was, he was at fault for the first goal, definitely. Wan-Bissaka, for me, I thought he was fantastic. I've noticed there's an issue with Wan-Bissaka in our fan base. I don't know why. I think people have given up on him, etc., etc. But I thought Wan-Bissaka was absolutely fantastic today. I would give him a strong 8. I thought he was steady. He was hard to get past. He was very good on the ball in the attack. I thought it was a really good performance from Wan-Bissaka, but I'm not surprised by the 6.6. In fact, I think he should be happy with 6.6 because most of the time he's getting below a 6. So I thought it was really good. Eric Bailly today, for me, I would give him as high as I'd give him an 8.5. So I'll go 9. So I'm not far off you, actually. No word of a lie, we lose that game without Eric Bailly. There were so many balls over the top where if it's Lindelof or Maguire, they're one-on-one. They're one-on-one. It was Eric Bailly's pace that got us out of trouble so many times. But more than that, his physical battle with Zapata was very interesting. His blocks, his positional sense. He was fantastic today, Eric Bailly. And I would actually give him my man of the match. I don't think he'll be everybody's man of the match. But I thought he was fantastic, Eric Bailly. Rafael Varane, look, he went off. Give him a 6. Maguire, 4 for me today. I just think... you could almost give him a score for his captaincy, but I'd give him a score for his performance and I'd give him a 4. And I'd give him a 4 for his captaincy as well. I thought he was below par again. At times, he was just a liability. And it's interesting because before the game, I could see him in the warm-up and he was actually being quite vocal and, telling people what to do. And then he goes on the pitch and he's just terrible. His ball distribution isn't good. He's nervous. I think he looks nervous. I don't know whether he is nervous. He's just in a really bad vein of form. And going into a game like Man City where they've got a lot of small players who pass and move, this is not the game. Man City aren't going to put a lot of crosses into the box. We're going to have to really protect Maguire because it's not a Maguire type of game against Man City and he's not in the form. So I'm a little bit worried about Maguire at the moment. He wasn't great. I thought Luke Shaw was average 6. I didn't notice Luke Shaw do too much wrong. Apart from, what I would say is, and maybe this is where people have marked Luke Shaw down, how many crosses did we put into the box tonight? You've got Cristiano Ronaldo in your team. We scored a very good header against them to win the game at Old Trafford. We're not working opportunities to put crosses into the box. And we've got one of the best number 9s in the world at heading. And we're not, we're never going to carve teams open. We can't do that. So at least work the space to whip a cross in. And there was numerous times where we could have done it and we don't do it. And I'm like, that really pissed me off. Why are we not putting crosses into the box? When all else fails, put a cross in the box. But have that part of your vocabulary anyway. Part of your arsenal. Disappointing. And that's something that Luke Shaw needs to do better. McTominay, I don't really want to dwell on McTominay. I'll give him a 4. Because if I dwell on McTominay, it gets called an agenda. All I'm going to say is, loads of people say McTominay's a good player. All I'm going to say is, I never see it. I thought he played well against Spurs. Apart from that, he's been poor this season. He was poor again tonight. He's no good when people press him. He's no good at picking up the runners. He doesn't do anything really creatively. I just don't get what he is, what he brings to the team, apart from energy. He was poor tonight. And I'm still waiting to see what everybody says he's good at. Sir Alex Ferguson loves him. Ollie loves him. Mourinho loved him. Carrick loves him. I just don't think we see it. Same for Paul Pogba, 4 for me. It's hard to split the two. I would have took McTominay off and kept Pogba on because Pogba's more creative. I thought it was a bit weird to bring Matic on. Ultimately, we drew the game, so you can't say it didn't work. But I thought Matic, defensive midfielder for Pogba, I thought, I would have took McTominay off first because at least Pogba, with more creative players coming on, could maybe create things and we needed a goal. But Pogba wasn't good. We've spoken about Pogba. Bruno, I wouldn't say he was as bad as those, but I'd give him a 5. Bruno's one of my favourite players, but again, like Martial last year, I gave him low scores when I didn't think he played well. I thought in the second half, Ronaldo and Bruno didn't have a lot of the ball because Pogba and McTominay didn't get them the ball, but I still think I would have expected a little bit more from Bruno. Very good on the assist for the first goal, but I thought he was quite quiet in the second half, and this is a guy that I'd probably take the captaincy off Maguire to consider giving it to Bruno or Ronaldo. So I expect a little bit more from Bruno. But as you know, in defence of Bruno and Pogba and any other creative player, this is part of the problem. We've got no pattern, we've got no chemistry, we've got no style of play. Nobody looks confident. Nobody seems to know what we're doing. Rashford was poor today. He's got to be a 4 for me. You know, I said it in the first half. If Rashford wasn't quick, why would you play him in a front two? I mean, literally, I agreed with Rashford playing because Atalanta leave a lot of space. So if we had ever had the opportunity to play it in, but Atalanta was switched on to that. They never allowed that space for him to run in behind. And if Rashford hasn't got that space to run into behind, I think he struggles. There was a couple of occasions in the game where, certainly one, where he shot from 35 yards and he could have slipped Ronaldo in. Ronaldo, you know, needs service, and Rashford's got to be looking to do that. Please smash a like on the video if you're watching, by the way. Lots of people tuning. Ollie, can't read that, Brandon, don't know what it means. Tottenham won that match against United the past weekend, and United lost considering they got a new manager. It's Jazz. Thank you for the contribution from John. As much as I want you to have done that one from Jazz. Okay, so let's do Ronaldo. So Ronaldo's got to be an 8, hasn't he? 2 fantastic goals. The second goal, the equaliser. I mean, he's just saved us from Europa League football. You know, he's the GOAT. You know, he's saved. If we lose that game, we're going in the Europa League. I wanted to keep this back for the Ronaldo bit purposely. If we lose that game, we're on 6 points. Atalanta and Villarreal are on 7 points. Atalanta play young boys, they go up to 10 points. Villarreal players, they draw with us, that's 7 for us, and then Atalanta beat we might not have been in the Europa League, but it would have been very hard. Would have been very hard if we've lost it. Now that we've won it, we won't end up in the Europa League, and that's because of Ronaldo's equaliser. So sorry for the shit maths, but basically if we'd lost this, we would have been on 6 points. Those both would have been on 7 points. We would have had to really go to Villarreal and get a win, really, because if we'd drawn, it would have left ourselves in a big spot of bother. But look, Ronaldo's just superb. I'm sure he's going to get your man of the match. I would give it to Babe, but it's just we've got one of the world's best ever players in our team, and that's why we drew the game today. It's as simple as that, isn't it? I actually thought Greenwood was good. I'd give him a 7. I'm surprised people are giving him a low score. I think he suffered from what Bruno did. He's an attacking player playing in a system that doesn't work for him. When we're not getting the ball to him enough. I thought he put a shift in. I don't think we were weak down the right-hand side because Wan-Bissaka played very well. So defensively, I thought he put a shift in. And he was involved in both goals. So I think a 7's fair for Greenwood. I thought he played well when he was involved. Matic, stability, a 6. Cavani, effort, a 6. Van der Beek, I mean, look, wasn't really on the pitch long enough. But I would give him a 7 and I would give Sancho a 7 because I think they just came on and gave us some purpose. You can't really get a score in 5 minutes, can you? But I think they did come on and give us some purpose. And, I mean, it's pitiful. 5 minutes is pitiful. But they still managed to make an impact. That's the quality of the players. They were on for 5 minutes and they gave us an impact. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What am I going to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today? I'm going to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today, on the match reaction player ratings, I'm going to give him a 4. Because, look, I'm not surprised people have gone lower. Because, to be honest with you, what part of that game can I give Ollie credit for? The midfield was getting overrun, and a better team would have put that game to bed. It's only because we've got better players that we didn't put them to bed. So a better team would have dominated that midfield and won the game like Liverpool did. So he allowed the midfield problem to go on for way too long. It was confusing how we were playing a back 5 and then the centre-back gets injured so we can't play a back 5 anymore. Ronaldo basically stopped us from losing the game, and it's just pure luck that Ollie gets by on again. I just can't... I know he's going to be in the job for a very long time, so I would much rather be sat here saying, you know what, to be fair, he's done quite well there. I still don't think he's the right man, but it was better tonight, and let's see what happens in the next game. That's what I want to be doing. I want to beat Man City at the weekend and go, look, he's not the right man for me, but that's a good result. That's all I want to keep doing, and maybe a miracle will happen. But unfortunately, as many know, we're not going to be doing that, are we? We're not going to be going, you know what, to be fair, that was a lot better tonight. It was tactically a lot better. It wasn't. It was the same old shit. And it's just, it's so, as I say, for me, the coping mechanism, I want Manchester United to win. I want to support Manchester United, but I don't believe in the coaches, and they look like they don't know what they're doing, and most of the time it comes across on the pitch that we don't know what we're doing. So yeah, low score for Ollie for me, and I don't take any pleasure from it. I just think, we've all watched the game. We all know what happened. It wasn't a good performance. It was a good performance from Eric Bailly, and it was hey, I tell you what, you've made my night. You've made my night, because I really think Ronaldo wins everything these days, and I really think Ronaldo was going to win it. So I'm over the moon that Eric Bailly has won the man of the match, because there's a lot of people voted, and I really thought Ronaldo was going to win it. So well done. Well done to Eric Bailly, and well done to everybody for actually voting in a way that's a footballing decision, because I really thought with 2 goals and the way Ronaldo's popularity is, quite rightly, I thought Ronaldo would coast to that. That's one of the first times where with the thinking person's man of the match has won it, because normally it's the goal scorers, isn't it? So I'm really, really proud that Eric Bailly's won man of the match, and I'm really proud of all you lot for voting for him to win the match, because to beat Ronaldo in a player of the match poll is very, very different, very, very difficult. So well done to Eric Bailly. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Right, the fan forum's on, so we know what we're gonna do. We're gonna raid with Bailly man of the match, because he's won man of the match. Thanks everyone for watching. Let's get over to the fan forum, and I'll speak to you in a bit.